Welcome to the Leadership Doctor, where we talk about all things leadership. I'm Dr. Christine Fugilier. Today, I want to talk about poor emotional intelligence in leadership. A lot of these topics that we're talking about are how negative leadership behaviors or characteristics impact organizations and people in a poor way. we when we talk about emotional intelligence in general, basically emotional intelligence is having the understanding of where you are emotionally and being able to identify where others are and how to manage through that. A person who has very strong emotional intelligence is very in tune to triggers, things that may trigger them. And they also, if they have a really good team or good relationship with their team, they understand how their feelings or their emotions could impact some of the decisions that they make. So, emotional intelligence is a very strong attribute that a leader needs to have in order for them to be successful with people. When you don't have emotional intelligence, a lot of the feelings that you have, they are what drives your decision making. And I think I've stated this before. Anyone who has ever made a decision in an emotional state, typically it's a bad decision. Same thing in leadership. If a leader is responding or reacting out of emotion and not logic, then it can be detrimental to the team and the organization. So I'm going to read a few excerpts from the book, The Leadership Rex, and then go into more detail. So one of the things I call out is a leader lacking emotional intelligence can get caught up in making decisions based on their feelings of jealousy, revenge, or frustration. So let's pause there for a minute. So when a leader is feeling the need to be vengeful, and because they want to get back at someone that has done something to them or something they disagree with, then they instead of using the logic and erring on the side of facts, they're always going to draw from that emotion. And vengeful leaders are the most dangerous because more times than not, they will kind of wait and sit back, and they may be, sometimes it's passive aggressiveness that comes out, but they may not they may not come directly at a person, but they are kind of plotting to see the next time or the next opportunity they have to kind of poke the bear, if you will, then they will. So that's emotions that's driving all that. So let's go back in here and see other things that an emotional leader has emotional intelligence. Who has emotional intelligence knows how to emotionally lead effectively. A quality that is not found in poor emotional leaders. Poor emotional intelligent leaders can lead to unethical decisions at times because poor emotional leaders typically make decisions that protect themselves, their interests, opposed to decisions that include data, facts, and inherently are ethical. So again, they're acting out of a place of emotion, and that causes them to kind of be in a fog or blind, if you will, to what's really going on. So when you see that, or if you're the person who reacts in that way, then identify what that is. First, I would say a way to do better in this space is, what are your triggers? What triggers the emotion? And more than likely, it's not the incident that's happening in the moment. It's something else that triggered the emotion. For example, someone may be triggered because a person says something in a certain tone, and it may not necessarily be that thing, but it could be something that is a recall of how maybe they felt someone disrespected them. And so they would then react to that particular incident as if it was the true trigger. And most triggers are not what's happening in that moment of time. So think about those things, and also as you're trying to improve your emotional intelligence, again, you have to do some serious soul searching and or do some exercises. For example, I think DISC is a great tool, DISC. It's a great tool to identify where you are and where other people around you are, and from an emotional standpoint. And then once you realize what that is, you know how to better respond and or manage your emotions. So if you're emotional and the person who you're leading is emotional, there's no clarity. So I think a good tool is DISC. Also, Myers Briggs is also a great tool that you can use, and or some personal assessments that you can use to kind of identify things that causes triggers for you, and a lot of reflection. So every time if something blows up at work or gets out of hand, go back and reflect. Every day we should be reflecting on the day's events, I like to say. And then you reflect, like, what caused that to go south? What caused me to react that way? And those are some great ways for you to kind of hone in on where you are emotionally. And there are emotional IQ tests that you can take as well. So I hope this was helpful. If you have comments or have questions, please drop them in the comments. And I look forward to hearing and talking to you again. Remember, our goal is strictly to make leadership great again. Talk to you next time.